Hey everybody, so folks here, doing basically the question and answer video for the 5th time. I got a few questions some people asked. I want to answer those, and then I'm going to talk about a few other things kind of to set the stage for some other stuff down the road with questions and answers. So let me kind of jump into it. One of the first questions somebody said, is, hey, is Muse bugged? She dies real quick. Obviously she got a, pull her up real quick. She got an awakening ability. I'm not there yet. I'm working on 2 right now. So, one of the things that happens is the stars are important. They provide survivability. And when you start facing teams that have a lot of damage dealers, a mid laner can get burst down real quick, especially if they've got like a Chavez who jumps back there. And so a lot of times, that's why we talk about the stars mattering. The higher you get, you need that survivability. So a 3-star, Muse, middle of the row, higher levels, it's not going to survive. You're just going to have to realize that. Maybe if she gets to her ultimate, that's worth it, but odds are in the arena she's probably never going to make it if she's 3 stars. That's just kind of how it works. So good luck with that. People say, are tankless teams better? That's really dependent on your team. It used to be a big meta of tankless teams. I think we've seen a lot more tank teams come out in the past few weeks, or even in the past few months. It's a lot of it's built around the whole Murphy thing, or the Merlin thing. You've got to run Merlin. It's going to be a magic team. It's usually going to have somebody that can kind of handle the midline. I've seen a few Karas teams in there just because he's middle of the row, or Lilith because she does steal some health. But I'd say right now that meta's kind of fluctuating. You'll still see some guys run it, and they do decent. But I think right now it's a personal choice. If you don't have a good tank, then by all means run it that way. But I think you could find a good tank like a Jacob or a Chavez that would fit well with a tankless team and still provide great support there. When they talk about a sleep team, a sleep team is teams that feature Pagani, Paganini, however you want to say it. Mage, where is it? Obviously puts to sleep. The Merlin team, I'm doing good. Lee puts people to sleep. Sleeping pill. During this time, they're in sleep. They receive damage. They'll wake up. He also does extra damage to people that are in sleep. Works good, obviously, with Pagani. And then usually they're also going to work with Tartarus, who, when people are put to sleep, it causes them to pop out a soul and everything. So they do extra damage. It's not a bad team right now. Kind of have to have a lot of AE to help maximize the damage you're going to do to all the little minions that show up to really kill people fast. So a lot of times, you're going to have to look at teams like that. But I think we're interested to see how the next hero coming out in the sleep team is going to work out. Until we see that, I don't know if it's going to change the meta a ton. You're going to see some guys and girls when that hero comes out, power level them up to whatever level that is to see if they can't kind of change the whole how arena teams work, we'll say. My strongest team tank for myself really is Monk's son. Saizo's right there with him. Chavez and Jacob are good. I'm working on the awakening for Kaiser. I'm not a huge fan yet of Nezha or Nizha, or however you want to say his name. He's not bad, but I mean it's still situational. He's got to be an off tank, and right now I'm really running a 1 tank team. It is what it is. So my strongest tank probably for me right now is going to be here. These 2 are great also, but so is Saizo. I get him 3-starred. There's a lot I could do to make him even more stronger. Plus, he does a lot of damage. So that's kind of my answer. If you're going obviously free wise, Monk Sung's not going to be a pick. These two are probably going to be your usual top 2 picks, with the Kaiser thrown in there. And then if you're going with elites, obviously Saizo and Monk Sung come into play. I was asked, what about Smoke or Aerial? My current team's Kaiser, Vortex, Pagani, Mira, and Murphy. Aerial's kind of that person a lot of teams run with Vortex, especially if you're going to 5-star, just because of the energy drain as well as the ultimate causing that person to take more damage. I like Smoke. Smoke is considered to be needed to finish up the team captain area skills. Pull up over here in the ancient runes for that final stage. I can't get there yet, or can I? What did I do? I did beat it. Never mind. Haha. It is one of those things where some people consider, at some point you need Smoke to kind of go through this still. I don't know. I made it through without Smoke. So I don't know. Is Haley still bad? Haley's gotten a lot better since my first review. I finally got her to a place where I'm bringing her up now. Where is Haley? Haley. There you are. I was like, man, I know I've got her. I've got her 5 stars. I'm working on getting her above that. She's on my to-do list as far as raising her up. Still won't see her in a lot of arena teams, though. If you guys do run her, she's going to definitely have to be silver starter or above later on for that. She's really good when it comes to the Sky City, but since this server is not going to see Sky City for 3 more levels, I'm focusing on certain other heroes right now. But she does have her uses. She's gotten a lot better since they made the changes of the first release. Once I get to a higher point and I get her raised up, then I'll go ahead and do another review on her. But I do like her. She's gotten better. It's kind of one of those things where they do some stuff. Gorgana or Alma, who's best at orange? Gorgana can be very powerful. Gorgana in a long battle, and I hate to say she's a beast because she is a beast, can do a ton of damage. We'll go here to her. See, she's a beast. The longer that fight goes on, the stronger she gets. Her skills work well. I've seen some pretty amazing teams with her. I didn't realize I hadn't leveled up any of her skills yet. I'll just waste some points. No cash. There we go. And so, there's that. Alma is kind of still liked by some people, not by others. Obviously, the advantage of Alma 1 is the ghosts that are summoned draw attacks from other people, which helps to keep your people alive, as well as the knock-up, which is hard to time. But, if you're going to go long-term game, you're probably going to look at a Gorgana just because she is pretty amazing later on. But that's just kind of how it is. Runner with the lifesteal item is usually my choice. Basically, going down here, my thoughts on how to rally attack a stronger player. I showed a few videos. Let me see here. I may have one still saved. I think it's already gone. It's probably gone. Yeah, it's way past. I'm pretty sure. 20 things I do. Yep. So basically, if you're going to attack a higher level person or a higher power person, you really want to bring at least a third more powers, and you want the person that's going to attack it to start the rally to have the best team composition. So often people rally and they don't have a great team composition. So I've got rallied twice in the last 2 days because we're outside our city. We've changed kingdoms. We're doing wars and everything. And so my team, it's currently, if I look at my city wall, is 228 power, 28k, and I'm 30,000 or 30% less. And they'll attack me with the 220 team power team, but their composition's terrible. And I don't mean that to be mean. If your composition's terrible, you got to have a whole lot more power, and even then it may not matter. I've seen teams with 200,000 more power than the team they're attacking lose because their composition's garbage. So really make sure that you're attacking with a good team, a team that would be your arena team, a team that has the best control and the damage and can really maximize the power boost that they're getting. Make sure you're going to get as many people as possible in on it. It needs to be enough power to take that person down and then anyone else that might be behind it. So if someone attacks me, I've got 3 teams sitting in my wall. They're all roughly the same power. You've got to be able to blow through all of them to really make a dent. Because if you don't, that person's just going to sit here and heal, heal, and you're never going to make it through. So when we attacked on my Merger 91 server, when we attacked the Chinese guy who spent like 200,000 gems, one last throne war that we won, I mean, we sent a full 10-man team, everybody's top guy only. He had like 320,000 power, and we're sitting on like 590,000 power. And, we would take out that team plus 4 others or so because we had such a great team. And if you sent a bad composition, it's just not going to do any good. What about elite team raids? What about tips on that? I'm not starting it just because tomorrow is the double gold event, so I'm going to sweep tomorrow, reset it, sweep tomorrow, and get double gold twice. But when you do these teams, obviously your heroes. Actually, let me do this real quick. Give me a second. Pause it. All right, I switched servers here. So I pull up my team here. I'm going to go against this guy. Man, they banned such random people. And so you'll notice all of your ultimates here start at about 70%. You should get your ultimates off. Unless you just die to another team and they have their ultimates charged and they drop it. So sometimes what we recommend doing is when you're fighting the first few teams, obviously you never know who's going to get banned, but pick your second best people, get them filled up, and then go back to your best team. Hope nobody gets banned, obviously. And that way, if you have to sub in a second team or someone else, they start off with a full energy bar and they're ready to go. If you're losing the fight, and I'm just going to do this here, don't take this bad. I'm just going to pick those guys. That's my top 5. And I'm fighting this. I'm like, oh, I'm losing. Having such a terrible fight. Oh, it's going so bad. Blah 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 blah. Click the button, pause it, exit, and it. You can restart it. Change out your heroes. I've done that many times. It works pretty well. So don't forget you can do that. That helps a lot too. Beast Soul, negative effects, positive effects. Pause on this again because I need to. All right, so on the Beast Soul side, we go to the mage. Let's see. That's not the one I want. That's not the one I want. There it is. So when it says, really, do I not have anybody? Evolve that sucker. I feel like I'm having one of those days. Oh, I only got 2 of them. Somebody here has a Beast Soul Nightmare. There it is. I was like, I know somebody's got one. So, lowers chance of getting hit by crit strike for targets of positive effects. Increase hero's damage received for targets of negative effects cast by the hero. So, basically, it's lowering the crit strike and increase damage. So, things like sleep. Obviously, sleep here is going to, it's a negative effect, increase that initial hit burst done to it. Teresa here, doing what she does with her abilities, the silence and things like that, those are negative effects. If you get to your support, when you start getting heals that are taking place, obviously those are positive effects. Speed ups, decreases of speed, Crash, with his decrease in attack speed, Poulon with his decrease in dodge. I mean, there's so many different things that can cause negative or positive effects, and so those are what are causing them to either be yay or nay. Skeleton Scepter, we talk about that. Somebody asked me on that. Blue 2? Blue 1, blue 2. I always have to look. Skeleton Scepter decreases surrounding enemies' heroes' magic resist. it's good, but the problem is I don't know what the range is, and nobody knows exactly what the range is. It doesn't show me what the range is, so it's not like there's a magical cloud that says, hey, this is how far it's hitting. Is it just the front line guys? Is it hitting the mid-row line guys too? I don't know. Is it only people on top of me? Again, I don't know. But it does lower the enemy's magic resist. It's not a terrible amount. I'm not a huge fan of this, even maxed out. Some guys like it. Man, that's everybody's personal choice. I just think there's a lot of better options out there. And the few points I'm going to shave off isn't going to do that much more damage, in my opinion, even maxed out. But that's just me. It says I can buy spirit crystals 8 times. You know, how about gold? So you can only buy, and if you go to the VIP section, where is that? Right here. VIP privileges. Maybe. It tells you how many times you can buy gold. So even at VIP 15, the most number of times I can buy gold is 30 times a day. I can get experience 12 times a day. I mean, so it tells you all those things that I can do. That said, you know, some guys are going to spend that. I'm not going to, but you know, there are limits to it. You know, if your level says, hey, I can only buy it so many times, you know, that's all you can do. There's nothing else you can do about it. And just kind of go from there. Somebody said, hey, you know, if I cancel an awakening, I've got a quest here. If I quit this, you know, what happens to all of these essences? They all disappear. I actually quit my Kaiser. I'd started him, was like a day into it. And then I was like, oh, I need to awaken Saizo. And it was like, oh, well, I guess I'll have to cancel one of these. And I was doing, I don't remember, somebody else West. And so I canceled him because West was almost done. And I lost all these. So I had to start back from ground zero. So if you do that. So just kind of be aware of that. That was pretty much most of the questions that people asked for me. A lot of the others I've kind of talked about with the rune cores. Talked about some of the beast soul stuff. I want to talk a little bit more about awakenings. They kind of cut back on some of the stuff that's coming down the pipe. Poulon's getting an awakening. Basically, he's about to die. Pops into a shield of ice block like the Miju or whatever the girl's name is on Overwatch. Heals himself, then comes out. So it's kind of cool. Karas's ultimate currently is not working. Or not ultimate, but awakening is not working. He just dies. It's not doing what it's supposed to do. They're supposedly working on a fix for that. But there's a lot of changes coming down the pipe. A lot more heroes are getting awoken. We're waiting on pearls. They're rolling pearls out. And people say, you know, well, what does that do to a hero? And my answer is this. Supposedly it makes them better. Whether or not it makes them viable, I don't know. You know, only time will tell. You know, nobody really knows what's going to be the best hero a month from now. You know, it could change because everybody thinks their tank team was Saizo and one other guy's awesome. And then they run into this team full of Orange Awakened Wings of Origin 2 that are maxed out, and they kill all their tanks in a matter of 2 seconds and then destroy their team. And they're like, it's not fair. I'm like, it's the game. I don't know what to tell you. So there's lots of different things that take place. Everything changes from day to day. I don't know who's going to be the best today, tomorrow, or the week. As awakenings come out, you know, obviously enjoy them, take care of them, kind of go from there. You know, there's a lot of events that are taking place. In fact, we've got the hunt going on. We just had the treasure event. One of the things about the treasure event I want to talk about, somebody said, is it really worth doing? And I say, you know, let's say you wanted to get Lilith. Just going to pick Lilith. Lilith is down in the bottom of the wishing pool. Go down here. You got to be VIP 8. It's going to cost you at least 4,000 gems to get not that many soul stones. So if your treasure event is sitting at 80, there's 80 left, and she still hasn't popped, blow 4,000 gems. Because if you get lucky, you're going to get Lilith. If you don't, you're probably going to get a couple of whatever soul stones, gold soul stones are giving away. So like for me, it was Sue. Where's my Sue at? There she is. So I mean, I'm sitting on 279 soul stones. I don't know how many I got. I got Lilith last night. Uh, Below the 4,000 gems. I mean, you know, I got more Lilith stones than that 4,000 gems that I spent and got the full Lilith than I would had I used that. So I'm like, yeah, it's kind of worth it for me. It's a personal call for everybody. Obviously, you know, some people prefer to go through the wishing pool. I don't know. I mean, if you're up for gambling, go for it. Just kind of know that. Some of your servers are probably boring and you're waiting for a merger. Don't get stuck in your kingdom. I think that's the one thing we really kind of negate. We get closed off in this mindset of, oh my gosh, I've got to stay here. You know, it doesn't matter how boring it is or it's not boring. You know, don't get closed-minded in that. You know, say, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and move kingdom. So I was up here originally in the Dragon Kingdom with my guys. We moved down here, man. We've been going to war, having a good time. It's brought back a little bit of excitement. You know, a few days from now, we'll move back there. But, you know, just have some fun. Mergers can be crazy. I've got one right now. Man, the drama going on is crazy. But it's action-packed. So don't, you know, the game has its highs and its lows. Yes, there are days where it's like, you know, okay, I came here, I did this, I did this, I did this, I'm done, there's nothing else to do. Okay, you know, before you send out your ships for 8 hours to mine, you know, attack all the goblins that are around your base. You know, so many times I see people that every day they finish up with 15 attacks. And I'm like, man, do you not look around and see how many of these are? You know, you can get a lot of great little items and use your attacks. And then call it a day and send your troops out to mine or something. So, I hope you guys are enjoying this. If you got any questions or comments for next week, feel free to ask. I gladly answer them. Specific hero questions and things like that. Stick around. I'm going to do a video, start working on equipment videos for different classes. Hopefully that'll help you some with picking the right thing for your right person. We'll talk to y'all later. Have a great day.